you very much for coming along today. My name is Ian McCaskill, and if with your permission I'm going to drop my mask to talk. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land in which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. On Monday 11th of April 2022, a writ was issued by the Governor-General instructing the Electoral Commissioner to call for nominations for the election of a member of the House of Representatives for the Division of Bean. Under the provisions of the Section 176 of the Commonwealth Electoral Act, I am now required to declare the names and nomination details of all candidates. This includes the candidate's name, their town or suburb, the state or territory in which the division is located, the name of the registered political party if endorsed, or if not endorsed, then unendorsed and independent, if this is requested by the candidate to be printed on the ballot paper. I have received nominations from 6 candidates. The names and details of the candidates are: for the Division of Bean in the Australian Capital Territory, David Philip Benedict Smith of Farrer ACT, endorsed by the Australian Labor Party ACT branch. For the Division of Bean in the Australian Capital Territory, Catherine James Savary of Stirling ACT, endorsed by the Australian Greens. For the Division of Bean in the Australian Capital Territory, Sean Conway of Gungahlin ACT, endorsed by the United Australia Party. For the Division of Bean in the Australian Capital Territory, Ethan Benjamin Robert Ambard of Griffin, Queensland, endorsed by Pauline Hanson's One Nation. For the Division of Bean in the Australian Capital Territory, Jane Caroline Hyatt of Cornwall ACT, endorsed by the Liberal Party of Australia ACT Division. For the Division of Bean in the Australian Capital Territory, Jamie Allen Christie of O'Connor ACT, unendorsed, independent. I'm now required to determine the order of candidates on the ballot paper. This will be done in accordance with Section 213 of the Commonwealth Electoral Act by the method of randomisation. Let me explain how the order of the ballot paper will be determined. First, I will list on the board, under the heading Allocation of a Number to each candidate, the names of the candidates for the election shown in the order in which their nominations were lodged with me. 2 draws will now be conducted. The first draw does not determine the candidate's position on the ballot paper, but merely allocates a number to each candidate. At the second draw, the ballot paper order for each candidate will be determined in accordance with the sequence that the numbers are drawn, with each number representing the candidate for whom that number was allocated in the first draw. Now for the first draw. As there are 6 candidates, I will place numbers 1 to 6 in the container. Section 213 of the Commonwealth Electoral Act requires that a person employed by the Commonwealth or a state, or by an authority of the Commonwealth or a state, be blindfolded to draw out the numbered balls. Raquel will perform this duty. Ball number 1. Ball number 2. Ball number 3. Ball number 4. Ball number 5. Ball number 6. The Act now requires me to rotate the container and invite any other person present who wishes to rotate the container to do likewise. Please. Don't leave me by myself. Thank you. There we go. Please. It's nice that we add aerobic exercise into them. Now Raquel will take the first ball out of the container and pass the ball to Van, who will call out the number and we will write it on against the first candidate. This process of withdrawing each of the balls will continue until all balls have been withdrawn. The container is not required to be rotated after each ball is drawn.
Ball number 4. Ball number 6. Ball number 5. Ball number 3. Ball number 1. Ball number 2.
I've just conducted the random number allocation. Each number shown alongside the candidate is now deemed to represent that particular candidate. I'll now conduct the ballot draw. The first number drawn will represent the candidate who will appear first on the ballot paper, while the second number drawn will represent the candidate who will appear next on the ballot paper, and so on. As they are drawn, we will display them on the board, and this is how they will appear on the ballot paper. I'll now put the balls numbered 1 to 6 back in the container and rotate the container. I will invite any other person present who wishes to rotate the container to do likewise.
Ball number 1. Ball number 2. Ball number 3. Ball number 4. Ball number 5. And ball number 6.
Anyone else? Raquel will take the first ball out of the container and pass the ball to Van, who will call out the number and I'll write it on the board. This process of withdrawing each of the balls will continue until all balls have been withdrawn. The container is not required to be rotated after each ball is removed. We will write down the name of each candidate with the corresponding number after the first draw, from the first draw, on the list beside that number.
Ball number 5. Ball number 3. Ball number 4. Ball number 2. Ball number 6.
I've worked it out.
Ball number 1.
Congratulations to him. As I said, we will put the name of the candidate with the corresponding number from the first draw on the list beside that number. That completes the draw for the candidate positions. Thank you for coming along. I have to head straight off and get these results entered into the system so we can start with ballot paper production. So I'm headed straight off and I will be in contact with you with contact details and any information that's upcoming very shortly. So thank you for coming. We do appreciate it. If you want to take photos, I'm going to quickly take a photo for our records.